I've heard of wolves in sheep's clothing, though I don't judge them on that. But we got a Camaro robot wearing a wolf's clothing. Somehow I see a certain coyote investing in this for some reason. Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're continuing our look into the Rise of Beasts with a 2-pack of figures now. We have Bumblebee and his beast partner, Snarl Saber. Once again, we want to give a shout out to Melissa for sending these figures to me. I thank you for that. And of course, everybody knows who Bumblebee is, since he's been the main star of a lot of the Transformer films. Snarl Saber, though, he's a new character to the line. But unfortunately, he's a character that was created for the toys. He did not appear in the film. And since he's an all-new character, there's not really anything to go by to talk about with him. Other than the fact that it looks like he's turning into what looks to be like a... I mean, originally I was suspecting it was a wolf, but he doesn't really have the ears done up like a wolf. His ears are more done up like a giant cat's. So I would guess that Snarl Saber here is trying to look like a puma. Or some sort of cougar. Whatever. But at any rate, he's basically a giant black cat. Not the kind you want to sacrifice at Halloween. Now, as you saw during the intro video, these two toys can be combined. That's the play feature that they went with this. Although Bumblebee here still can transform. But all of the loose accessories basically belong to Snarl Saber here. So we'll show you here with the loose parts. Snarl Saber's major loose part is his tail. As you can see, it's got a blade here on the end of it. And there's a special area molded here, a little bit wider, just before the tail. So that the weapon, so that it's a weapon that can be used by Bumblebee. It just plugs into his hand and he's got like a bladed whip or something. I mean, I don't know what this is trying to emulate that it's supposed to be. I mean, bladed whip comes to mind, but no whip uses a blade like this. I mean, I'd go with a bladed staff, but no bladed staff is curved to this degree and that short. So, all in all, it just looks stupid. And the other part that can pop off is the upper portion of his head. This basically then just becomes some sort of wrist-mounted weapon or shield or something. Because it'll get applied to Bumblebee when we combine the two toys together. I'm going to set Snarl Saber aside. So we'll take a better look at him in a moment. But first we'll take a look here at Bumblebee. This is done up as a rather simplistic version of Bumblebee. And you'll really get to see that here in just a moment. My guess is, as many of you have already formed an opinion about how this thing is, and how I'm going to review it. My guess is you're right. Let's take a look here at Bumblebee's articulation, and despite the fact that he's the same class size as Optimus that we reviewed earlier in the month, he has worse articulation. The head does not move at all. You can raise the arm at the shoulder about so far, and the arm rotates at the shoulder all the way around. There is no elbow articulation, and there is not much of a swivel, but again, it's more done at the shoulder. So in some ways, he can attempt to do G.I. Joe's battle grip, but unfortunately, the hood of the car tends to limit him trying to look decent or anything. He does not twist at the hips, so he's got no dance moves going. You can spread the legs apart into a full split, almost a full splits. He does not have a thigh cut on him. You can raise his leg at the hip under 90 degrees, and he bends just below the knee a little more than 90 degrees. But it's more for transforming him than for any actual posing. Alright. They did give Bumblebee the ability to be transformed, so we will transform him. We come around here to his backside, and we're going to bend back a bit the upper portions of the car that he's got here. Then we'll come back here to his front. We're going to pop the chest piece up and fold it upwards over his head. We come down here to his legs. We're going to put his legs together. Just like that. And of course we'll fold the little feet so they go inside. Trying to get this to stay together pretty well. Come back up here to the top. We're going to fold the car top into the hood so that way it kind of lines up decently. Because now we're going to swing up the legs so they form the back of the car. Kind of straighten everything out a bit. And then we are going to wiggle the arms up at the shoulders so they line up with the front of the car. And then bring them in at the sides so it'll help complete the look. And then there you have it. Bumblebee is in his famed Camaro mode. However, many of you may notice that it isn't quite a good look. Since the way the gimmick is with connecting him to Snarl Saber, he's got these two holes that are prominent at the top of the hood. And unfortunately, since the hood's kind of sloped on Bumblebee's chest, it makes these sections stand out when you're looking at the car like this. So it really detracts from the look. I mean, yeah, he's got holes on the side. That would be for attaching weapons, but since they're so low, so close to the wheel and so low to the ground, if he's got any weapons attached there, he's going to drag them. How well does he roll on these little plastic wheels? Not the best. Let's get a little more oomph out of it. That's better. That worked a little bit better. And now we come here to Snarl Saber. And unfortunately for him, we really can't say much about him. So like I said, he's an original character, but unfortunately the only articulation he has is in his legs, and it's more at the elbow. You don't really get a whole lot of real useful articulation with him. So basically, he's just a big hunk of plastic that just sits there and looks pretty. Well, then again, looking pretty is depending on what you think of cats. Alright, now he connects to Bumblebee to form some battle armor. And to get him ready for that, first thing we gotta do is we gotta remove his tail. We just set that aside. And you'll see underneath him, he's got a couple of posts here. And these are to line up with the holes here on Bumblebee's shoulders. You're supposed to put him so that Snarl Saber here is looking to the right. This does not look comfortable or appealing. Now, one thing I'm going to say is that it looks like Hasbro didn't really do the best in measuring the distance for the holes. It is a little complicated to get it in, but once you get it lined up right, it will go on. Now, once you've got that done, he is top heavy to say the least. You'll come down here to the leg, to the cat legs, and you're going to fold those up like so. All of those fold up and inwards. Now, most of this is on a spring-loaded mechanism, so we come here to the top. We're going to pop this midsection of the back out. And as you go to fold it down, you'll see that the side, the front and back of the animal will fold down over Bumblebee's shoulders. And it also reveals to us a new head. But at any rate, once you've got that down, you'll then come up here and fold the extra piece up so that it kind of forms the chest plate. Make sure those legs stay in. Alright, so once you've done that, you'll come over here to the side with the head, and you will remove the upper portion of the head, because as you'll see underneath it, there's a gun. The head you just bring over here and you can attach into one of those holes on Bumblebee. You see the spring-loaded mechanism didn't hold. There we go, that's better. Then they advise you can bring this thing up a bit so you can act like you're aiming the gun. And then you can put the bladed weapon in either of Bumblebee's hands. This way, at least he's looking like he's holding everything. And then, as soon as the camera refocuses, there you go. Bumblebee and Snarl Saber are merged together. And like I said, I didn't really care for the spring mechanism, because you saw there it didn't hold very well. And well, it's not surprising that they gave Bumblebee a new head, but it looks a little disproportionate to the rest of the body. And unfortunately, because of the placement of it, it restricts the movement of his arms now. So now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of this toy? I'm not impressed with it very much, folks, to be honest with you. Bumblebee, the robot itself, it's rather poor since it has to be made to work with this gimmick, and Hasbro ought to know, the more ridiculous a gimmick that you do for the figure, the worse the figure comes out. It's a long established thing. It's been done with Transformers before. It's been done with G.I. Joe before. But somehow they felt that they could get people to buy these toys by putting an animal with a robot, and that they could be merged like this. Me personally, I would have preferred it more if Snarl Saber could be broken up into several pieces and the pieces be attached onto Bumblebee better. It would still look stupid, but it would look a lot better than this. Because it's kind of, this just comes off too weird. And unfortunately, it just makes the robot itself look a little disproportionate. He stands pretty good, because he is standing by himself. He's not braced on anything. So it will look okay on a shelf, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of adult collectors after this. I mean, this is a toy rated for a 6-year-old. I don't know how long a 6-year-old's going to be entertained by something this simple. And not exactly done in the best way. At any rate, that's my look at the Rise of Beast version of Bumblebee and Snarl Saber. I hope you all enjoyed it. And please do remember that if you like the content we feature here on this channel, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.